So, it's the end of yet another week, and here on this channel, that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week, it finally happened. Our 2022 NBA season officially came to a close as the Golden State Warriors defeated the Boston Celtics in 6 games of the NBA Finals. And Steph Curry finally claimed his first highly coveted Finals MVP trophy to complete his resume. On top of that, the NBA draft is coming up this week too, so of course we have plenty to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. The first take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Egan, and he says that the Celtics need a new playmaker because Marcus Smart is not good enough in that role to be their primary ball handler. This was a topic that has stuck out to me about the Celtics for a while, and it definitely got magnified during the NBA Finals. Don't get me wrong, the Celtics deserve a ton of kudos for the season that they pulled off after starting the year as slowly as they did. They made some big trades to acquire impactful talent to add to their rotation, they fully bought in on defense, and as a result of it, they made a run that nobody would have thought was coming back in December. However, while the phrase does go defense wins championships, in today's NBA, you need a balanced offensive attack to be able to take home the Larry O'Brien trophy, and that's a clear edge that was in favor of the Warriors. On top of Steph Curry being someone who naturally creates for those around him simply by drawing a ton of attention by the defense, he's also someone who can make plays with his passing when he's double-teamed, and alongside him, Draymond Green is one of the best passing and playmaking forwards in the league. Draymond may not have had a good series against the Celtics, but he was still at the heart of a lot of the actions that the Warriors were running offensively and provided value there despite his terrible struggles scoring the basketball. The Celtics have 2 incredible talents in Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but neither of them are players that look to pass the ball and create for others as often as a point guard should perhaps, and they both struggled mightily with turnovers when they were thrust into more primary ball handling duties. Marcus Smart isn't necessarily a bad passer, but it's not exactly a notable part of his game either. Derek White is also more of an attacking guard as a ball handler, so I completely agree that they were lacking in someone who could make the lives of those around them easier as a playmaker on offense. The same thing has been said about the Los Angeles Clippers, who are constructed in a somewhat similar way, with top-tier scoring wing talent and talented rotational players as well, but they too have been lacking a true point guard, and in both instances have come up short of their goals because of it. The next take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Dogman, and he says that this year's title proves that the Warriors never needed Kevin Durant because they have successfully won both before and after his tenure with the team, and it weakens the legacy of Durant's championships. Well, this has been a major topic of discussion ever since the Warriors made it official that they would be crowned the champions, but it's something that really bugs me because it's just such a blatant lie that ignores so much context. Now, when I say this, it's not intended to be disrespectful to what the Warriors have accomplished, but we also can't just gloss over obvious facts in order to slander Kevin Durant in the process. In 2015, when the Warriors won their first title of this new era, they faced a Cleveland Cavaliers team that was missing both Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. The team with LeBron James playing with guys like J.R. Smith and Matthew Dellavedova as his best teammates pushed them to 6 games that year, but then they came up short as the Warriors took it home. In 2016, when Irving and Love were back healthy, the Cavaliers beat them. Durant went to Golden State to push them over the edge after that season, and in 2018, even with Durant, the Warriors were on the brink of elimination against the Houston Rockets in the conference finals before Chris Paul went down with an injury. Then in 2019, Durant himself suffered an injury, and without him, the Warriors lost to the Raptors. When Durant left the Warriors in 2020, they then missed the playoffs 2 seasons in a row without him. Yes, they are now back on top, but Durant left them 3 years ago now, and 3 years is plenty of time to regroup and acquire championship caliber pieces, which the Warriors did. The Warriors are also no longer facing LeBron James at the peak of his powers, which is also a pretty notable thing that needs to be discussed. So while this was a huge accomplishment for the Warriors, it really doesn't say much at all about Kevin Durant, nor does it diminish anything that he did when he was with the team. The next take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Solvi, and he says that after the way that Jayson Tatum performed in the NBA Finals this year, you can't rank him in the top 10 players currently, let alone the top 5. I've said this previously, but Tatum has for a while been a guy that a lot of fans are pretty fast to overrate. I'm not saying he isn't ridiculously talented or one of the best players in the league, but his good performances have typically come with extreme levels of praise, while his low moments have gotten glossed over for a while. When you're playing in the NBA Finals, you can't hide your low moments since it's the biggest stage imaginable, and man, there were a ton of low moments. In this series, when his team needed him the most, he scored just 22 points per game while shooting the ball 36% from the field. That's not going to cut it. Where exactly Tatum ranks in the league is tough to say though, and it's something that I was thinking about last night as well. To start off, in no order, I can confidently say that Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Luka Doncic, and Steph Curry are better players than him, which is 7 players already named. When healthy, I would also throw Kawhi Leonard in that list as well, which makes it 8 players better than him already. Then, in that next tier of players is where Tatum probably comes in, which includes players like Anthony Davis, Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard, Ja Morant, amongst a few others. I usually put out a player rankings video of my own in the offseason, so I won't spoil things exactly, but I can see Tatum being fringe top 10 at best, and maybe on the outside looking in at worst. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Rahul, and he says that Steph Curry just had the most impressive Finals MVP campaign, I assume he means ever, because of the fact that he was guarded by the Defensive Player of the Year in the Finals while playing as well as he did. Well, no. Steph finally overcame the hurdle to being named a Finals MVP, and he deserves it. He was incredible outside of one game this series, and performing as well as he did against a dominant Boston defense deserves a ton of praise. But was this the most impressive Finals performance ever? Of course not. That's such a prisoner of the moment take. The NBA has a long and illustrious history of elite performances on this stage, including Michael Jordan, who averaged 41 points per game in the 1992 NBA Finals, LeBron James leading the comeback in 2016, and even last year, Giannis dropped 50 points in a closeout game in the Finals, just to name a few. So to conclude, we're allowed to give Curry his props without going overboard with it, claiming that it was greater than it actually was. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes we discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.